Alright, welcome to the One Zero channel to react to a live White House briefing with I don't know this lady's name. Karine, is it Karine? Whatever, but it's a live reaction, so let's get straight into it.
With the speaker on Monday?
Well, I'll say this, and we've been very consistent, and I think that what I'll say will answer the question. We do not get involved when it comes to leadership in whether it's the Senate or in the House. We're very mindful that is something that the members, in this case, the members in Congress, have to decide on. As it relates to Democrats, Leader Hakeem Jeffries, that's something that he and his caucus have to make a decision on. We do not get involved.
The president doesn't have any opinion about
We
whether
do not.
Democrats should help save a Republican speaker in his job?
I mean, I've been asked this question many times, whether it's on the Senate side or the House side in the last 2 years, almost 3 years, when we've gone through these types of exercises, or the House has gone, in particular, has gone through this exercise, and we've been pretty consistent. There's nothing new here. We have said we're not going to involve ourselves in this. This is something, in this case, for members of Congress to decide.
Yeah, that's actually weird for us.
Just about the call
dumb
yesterday
comment.
between U.S. and Israel, to what extent did Iran come up on the call?
Look, I'm going to be super mindful. I'm just not going to speak to diplomatic conversations. Obviously, we put out a readout. So I'm just
Okay.
going to leave it. Not going to go beyond the readout.
There wasn't reference to that, but can you at least talk
I'm not going to go beyond the readout that we shared with all
Did
of
the
you yesterday.
U.S.
Come on, at least give us breadcrumbs.
At all on a smaller scale response? Can you talk about that?
So I can say that I'm going to be mindful, because I'm not going to speak or speculate to any of the events from last night.
Okay.
And I know you all have a lot of questions on this. I get it. I understand.
I mean, you are
just
the
wanna be mindful here.
White House press secretary, so
Okay.
I think he would be able to
let's
answer some of the
policy
questions.
then, on U.S. Steel, I know you and I spoke a little bit about that yesterday as well. The transaction process will sort of play out. But really, Japan is an ally, so what is really the national security concern here? I mean, is it Nippon's business in China? And at the same time, the president's, of course, pledging that, the company will stay in American hands. So is he confident that a CFIUS review will come up with national security complications? And if that happens, what is his concern primarily?
So let me just first say at the top, and you heard the president say this when he was making the announcement in Pittsburgh, that steel is the backbone of our economy. It's a has its own process.
Make
I'm
more
not going
steel
to get ahead
here,
of
I
that.
guess.
And so I'm going to just let that process go. I'm not going to get into hypotheticals. And we've said before that this looks like this is an action for CFIUS to take on, and so that is what they're going to design. Obviously, they are designated to examine this, and so we're going to let that process be.
The White House telling CFIUS, is there sort of any kind of mandated time
They're
frame here?
independent. They are an independent body, and we're going to let CFIUS move that
The
process.
president, as confident as he is, pledging that the company will remain in U.S. hands.
Look,
Man, is she the queen of answering
he
questions, or
believes,
just me?
believes,
Like,
that U.S. Steel will remain an American-owned and
Okay.
American-operated. We're going to let CFIUS run its operations, do its process. It is designated to do this process. I'm just not going to comment, but he believes strongly on that, as you just did in your question.
I ain't so wearing a no comment hat when I react to her.
Advised the Israeli Prime Minister in his phone call to think carefully and strategically about next steps following Iran's attack against Israel. Is it the U.S. assessment that the Prime Minister took the President's advice and has attacked
here's a good
concerns
question.
of escalation in the region?
No comment?
Going to be mindful here.
Knew it.
I'm not going to speculate or speak on any of the events that's been reported overnight. So I'm just going to leave it there. We have been very
Even
clear.
though Biden said don't attack,
Secretary
but
Blinken this morning about
I guess
de-escalation,
they
not
haven't been
escalating in
listening.
the region. We've been very clear about that. Any question that is related to the reporting out there, I'm just
authorities, presidents, enforcement?
Yeah, so it's a very sad news. We're just learning this as you all were reporting this live. I was watching.
Yeah, people said this was on fire. This was today around Trump's trial. Then last time there was a pro-Palestinian man. I forgot his name, but he set himself on fire. I think in front of the embassy.
I don't have anything beyond what you all are reporting. It's just happening. It's developing. It's obviously a very sad news.
Another question. More than 100 people protesting the war in Gaza were cleared off the Columbia University campus yesterday and arrested. Is the president aware of these arrests, and what is his message to these protesters?
So just let me say at the top, because I have to be mindful here, as you know, there is an investigation currently being led by the Department of Education. It's an ongoing civil rights investigation of Columbia University. So I won't speak to specifics about the protest here. There's a couple things I do want to say is that we know this is a deeply painful moment for many communities impacted by this conflict. The president and our administration continues to speak out and forcefully condemn anti-Semitism, and our administration is implementing the first ever national strategy to counter anti-Semitism. In recent months, we've seen a shocking rise in anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and anti-Arab hate in the U.S. and around the world. He has also been clear that hate has no place in America, whether it is based on race, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, or any other form of hate, which is why there is no place for discrimination on college campuses or anywhere.
Video, make sure you like, subscribe, do the whole thing, and I will catch you later. If you want, you can watch this whole live stream, but I'm definitely not doing that. So, see you guys later.